Welcome to The Vault with Financielle. This is a safe space where we talk all things life and money and no topics are off limits. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! I was thinking Friends. Happy New Year! Oh my God, I just again.
We're starting the year with a crash bang wallet. Lucy's kicking a drink over.
Again.
So excited to be back in the financial room. I don't like New Year.
Don't
I'm
you?
put it out there. As in the pressure to be like, Happy New... Like it gives me the ick.
Yeah.
When everyone's got to kiss everyone, everyone's got a
Yeah.
hug. Like all our friends went to get together and we sometimes do a house party, sometimes go to the pub, sometimes do different things. Easier when you've got kids to get out of these situations when you're a single Pringle or a dink or whatever you might be.
I was like, what's a dink?
Dual income, no kids. It's harder to sometimes get out of these things unless you've got your own little like New Year tradition. But it gives me the ick when you have to kiss people on New Year's. Like,
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
So what did you do?
Stayed at home, obviously. Steak.
Were you
Champagne.
Were you asleep for midnight?
So I usually would be, but I do try and stay awake. Last year, I remember me and Neil lying in bed going like night, and it was probably like 10 to 12.
So close.
Purposely.
So close.
I was trying my best. Please.
You're like Ali when he's not in a nap. You're like, we're nearly there.
But it ends up being a bit
Resting
painful
my eyes.
if you're
If you're an early bird, like
it's
Yeah.
really
Jet
hard
lag.
work.
Bit
It's
jet
not fun. It ends up not being very fun. So, but a few sparklers in the garden because we did fireworks the year before and Neil bought them and literally, I don't know if you remember, Laura came. Pew, pew, pew.
Look like they got wet.
When's the main event?
What?
We were
damn.
like, when did the big ones come? And Neil was like, I think that was it. He was fuming.
It makes you appreciate proper displays, doesn't it?
Yeah, so much more.
yeah.
Our friend does a massive bonfire night 3 nights, I think she does now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
3
my
nights.
God.
And it's sell out 500 people at
Partridge
each event.
legs.
It's incredible.
Follow them on Instagram.
And we watch them from our house because our kids don't like fireworks.
So we did.
But they're incredible.
They're so
But
good.
these, honestly.
It's like reducing the things you have to buy on New Year's. No, we do similar actually. So I love being able to see people like during the day or tea time. So all our friends, if they some of them stayed out a bit later, but I loved getting together, being like, hi, crazy, happy New Year. Okay,
We're going now.
especially with I've got one of the youngest, the toddler is getting up harder
yeah.
to, you can't just sit in the pram and stuff. He's like very active. And so getting them home, treat it a bit more like a normal. It's nice. For us, it's another little Christmas Eve. So I do like New Year's.
You can
but
make it really special
on my
together.
terms,
Yeah.
in pajamas, really good bougie food. So
It's
yeah,
always a
we did
steak, isn't it?
M&S steak. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then sticky toffee pudding, champagne,
Over
and
to Laura's.
but not midnight, like bedtime.
Yeah.
Didn't see it.
Just
Fine.
fireworks don't even wake me up. Neil's
Funnily
like, did you
enough.
hear the fireworks? I'm like,
No.
yeah. Did I? What did you do?
We were go out for like a nice little meal, go for a drink, home, watching who's the guy? I still don't
Jules
know.
Holland.
Yeah.
See, that gives me
Hoots
the
and Annie.
ick.
Classic.
Especially when for a long time I didn't realize it was pre-recorded.
If you're not watching on
Lucy's
YouTube,
face just dropped.
Lucy's face. It's like we've just told us something's not real.
Pre-recorded, so they go.
So that literally is like Friends. Have you seen the
9.
Friends episode where Joey?
It's the dance. Isn't it the dancing?
Yeah.
one?
Oh my God. Maybe me and Neil will do that on New Year's Eve. Learn the dance. The
Yeah.
Monica and Ross dance.
Oh, yes.
And they don't get on they get invited to go up to
Yeah,
the
they don't go on the
cage.
podium.
The podium, that's it.
If you're just listening, you need to get on YouTube and watch Harley's dancing there.
Lucy, I feel like you know the moves more than me. Go on.
Me and my brother used to do it. No,
I mean, your brother, Ross.
yeah, literally.
Oh my God, that's going to be my New Year's thing, and I'm going to present it back to you all.
Well, you've got a year to practice, so good luck. Lydia, please come to the table with something more than we're offering.
Oh,
from
then
you.
pajamas and tea. Yeah, no, I can't. Sorry.
I respect you
And
for
that
that.
is why we are friends.
Yeah, that's why we all get on so well.
Well-
yeah, no, it's not one person in the group was like, I'm going to go out.
Go and get smashed.
Going on a bender.
We're getting smashed.
We don't even know what to say. I'm going to brattost.
I like to wake up on New Year and like go for a nice fresh walk. Last year I went for a run. I forced Alex out for a run. And I was just like, I want to start the new year how I want to like go
Yeah.
on.
This is
And
all
I'm
a
like,
bit
I'm not
American
being
Psycho.
hungover. I'm not
You
being
wanna be
hungover on
fresh.
New Year's Day. I can't do that. That gives me bad vibes for the
I
rest of the
love
year.
this. I find the New Year walk thing really funny because in our front room, it's the 1970s house, and so it's a huge window, like absolute huge window. Everyone can just see all inside of our house. So if I sit in the right spot, I can people watch. So I got a cup of tea, like 9-10 o'clock. And you start to see, so the dog walkers, there's our routine dog walkers. Sometimes if it's a friend, they'll look in and we'll do a nod and they'll carry on. But those are those people. And some people are daily walkers, right? On their own with the headphones in. There's a routine to them. And there are daily runners. Then there are the New Year ones.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes like, I've got
Like they never walk, like they've come out of a dinosaur egg, like rubbing their eyes.
you've got the kids being dragged along like
Hungover teenagers at the back.
But you can imagine the conversation when she's like, let's go for a New Year's
People
walk. I
love-
can't understand how that conversation starts.
It's like the gym thing that we spoke about last time. Like, don't clog up the pavement for people
This is
that
Lucy.
walk
Lucy's
every
dragging
day.
Alex out
Yeah.
for a run
And the
when-
runners that just go on first day of the year.
Yeah, I was there last year, Dun and Massey.
Yeah.
Like dodging everyone on their New Year walks.
Yeah.
I
See you in a month. Not. Yeah, New Year's a funny old one, isn't it? Christmas, very different. Love the chaos, welcome the chaos, want to be with all the kids and the family and the noise and the presents but New Year, I'm like, vroom. I think the social battery's gone by then.
I just
Me
think New Year's
personally.
nice date night.
It is.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
yeah.
I always want to go out, but there's always like, I think you went out last year for dinner, didn't you? But a lot of the time it's like a set meal
Well,
and I
so-
don't want the set meal.
Yeah, last year I did.
Yeah, you went out.
Well, so we were going to we just went to like a nice little independent place, but we looked at, do you know, Opera Grill? It's part of the big, like, I think it's same as like Piccolino's. That
Okay.
might be wrong.
Yeah.
Like £200
Yeah.
per person. And I'm like,
I just want a meal.
I'm going to get the same thing I would
Yeah.
get. Like normally I'm not going to get anything special.
Our
I get
parents
why they
last year
charge
did
more.
the Ivy with my
Yeah.
auntie for like tea time sitting. So they didn't. So it was like I think the price was fair. I remember thinking that's all right, that price. And then they like got a taxi and got a taxi home. Can't remember, but they like as all the chaos was arriving, they were
could
like,
leave.
"Ah."
That's nice. I would
That's
like
a
that.
flex.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
is
thought that was a
flex.
good thing. Go for the bougie meal, like celebrate New Year's. I think people have done fake midnights before with kids.
So Sarah,
Yeah.
our friend that's like massive supporter of Financielle, she's got a great Instagram account, the Copper Beach House. Go and have a look at it. She does one for the kids. So when we did there's so many of us, we've talked about the infamous group that we're in, like a small village, but like there's like 30 of us that all get together. It's such a good time. That's not including kids, by the way. So you can only imagine when the kids outnumber us all. But she does a fake midnight for the kids. So you get
That's
like
such a
10
good idea.
o'clock because she knows that all the adults are going to be a little bit not with it at midnight, and she does a fake one for them. So she sets them all up with like party poppers
That's a good
and
idea.
a countdown and gives them
And
like
they
a
feel like they
glass
stayed
of
up late
lemonade.
because it's later than
Yeah.
Yeah,
like 8.
she gives them a glass of lemonade, then they feel like they're having champagne, and she does a
Yeah.
5, 4. It's really cute.
Aw.
Nice idea
Yeah,
for
we need
people
to
if you
take a
don't,
moment
if you
for
don't
the
think you
people
can
in our
make
life.
it. Listen,
that
we should
make
do
our
that
lives
for
fun.
us.
Yeah.
Let's all do a fake midnight.
I get
at
Alex to
10.
do that for me.
Holly stayed up.
Here's a
Like
party
that.
popper. I don't know. 10 o'clock's a push for Holly some nights.
Neil's worried about me sometimes. The last few weekends, like 8:45. He's like, you said you were going to stay up and we're going to watch this film together. I'm like, say film to me. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
It should
"Go
have
on."
been, a documentary would have been different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, we've got New Year. I wonder what we're going to be saying in the year. Like what we're going to do with Financielle 2025. What are people going to do with their money? What questions are people going to have? What dilemmas? What controversial opinions?
Segue.
That was
Moving on
unintentional.
smoothly.
No, it was a good one.
take
Okay,
it.
today's first controversial opinion of 2025. You don't need a high income to build wealth.
Yeah, so many people will be like, you definitely do.
Mm.
It's impossible if you don't have a lot of
Like,
money.
what is the definition of wealth
Wealth.
and being wealthy?
Yeah, well, who in society determines that someone's wealthy or not? I'm sure there must be some sort of measurement because I'm not going to get on Forbes' wealthy list for 2025. I mean, I might do something drastic might
Watch this
change.
space.
Yeah, but who determines what wealth is? Obviously, you've got your Uber, billionaires, multi-billionaires.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the time it's like, are you financially independent? So, do you need to work? Do you have enough savings or investments to live off? And I think that typically is, if someone to say what's wealthy to me, it's that And that is determined by how much you need, which is very, very different to being rich, isn't it? Like, the number of multi-millionaires that we see going bankrupt, lottery winners, footballers, business owners crashing and burning. And I just, even with a lot of money in the bank at the rate that they spend and need more, they don't seem very well to me.
It's like the more that comes in, the more that goes out. And we call it lifestyle creep for all of us that get like a pay rise or, a sum of money coming to us that was expected. The taste goes up, the meals get nicer, the car gets bigger and more expensive. But no, I don't think you do. In answer to the question, I don't think you do need a high paid job? Is that was the thing to be deemed wealthy? You can have wealth for us is about being financially well. Like, I feel wealthy because I don't worry about money every day, and there's plenty of people in our community that can't sleep at night because they're worried about money, and they get paid double than I do, triple, quadruple. We speak to them. We know them. I get paid nothing. These people are so rich, but we do speak to wealthy people that are not financially well and therefore would not deem themselves wealthy, but on paper, in terms of their income, they should be wealthy because there's so much they could do with that income that shouldn't be wasted, that should be go to growing the wealth or creating passive forms of income so that then they don't have to rely on that high salary to live the life that they kind of built for themselves.
I think it surprises people how little you actually need to invest, because it's the time and the patience and the not get rich quick. And I think so many people get distracted by that they don't do the basics. And so if you can create a budget where you're living on less than you make and you're investing the difference slowly and steady, it's not when say if you're starting in your 30s, it's not only when you're 70, it can be in your mid 40s and 50s, but people don't want to wait that long. They want it now. And and then they want to live the life while, might not be here by then. I'm here for that as well. Like, I get it, but they just think, they give up because they think, when I earn that, I'll do it. When I earn that, some of my longer term wealth was built in my early 20s, when I finally ditched the debt, when I finally bought my first house, when I finally started to invest extra in the pension. And so I might not be like walking with that wealth on my wrist or on my finger or on, under my arm and my handbag. Like, it's there and it's modest, but it's my wealth and it's my family. It works for my family. And I think people would shock themselves if they did investment calculators. And it's the thing with investing, actually, like, lots of people want to get into investing, but they talk about you put 100 quid in and then leave it and then go, it's gone down. And it's like, this is this longer term regular payment, like it's a bill. But you can't do that if you have car payments and debt payments and Klarna payments and shopping habits.
Holidays on credit cards.
You can't do everything. So, I think that we have people in our community, the higher earners, having to control spending, having to pull back life creep. And they sit, this is a lesson, I love those in our community who are 50 plus because they're cracking the whip, they're making plans, they're doing stuff, but they pass on nuggets to the younger generation, which is, I wish I'd have done this. Don't do what I did, which is spend more than you make. And so you can have two people who one earns double, but if their expenses are double or more than double, then the person with less of an income, lower income, may just be doing all right. Because what it looks like, it's not
in our community that are probably on lower incomes that are so much more financially well than people that aren't, for sure. I can name them off the top of my head.
Don't get me wrong, the more you earn, the better. Like, make sure.
Yeah, of course.
But this is where you can have compromises. It's what you do. It's literally what you do with it. It's literally what you do with it.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, first dilemma. I'm stuck between paying off debt and starting a family. Hello. I've just joined Financielle and I'm feeling motivated to get financially well. I'm in a same-sex relationship, both women. My wife and I got married this year and bought our first house. I'm a lawyer earning £51,000 and my wife earns around £25,000. My parents lent us money for our first house purchase. We owe them £6,000. We also have around £6,000 in credit card debt between us. Right now, I feel overwhelmed. We've read the playbook and we know we need to build a mini emergency fund. We've saved £500 so far, which feels like a good start. What feels unmanageable is the cost of fertility treatment. There's also the ticking biological clock in the background. Our next big money goal is to save for fertility treatment. We know from friends in same-sex relationships that this can cost tens of thousands of pounds. Some friends have borrowed to fund it, but we don't want to take on more debt. I'm worried about how long it will take to pay off this debt, build sinking funds, and save for fertility treatment. Starting the process is top priority for us. Any advice would be so appreciated.
Can we just pause for the mental moment where I'm picturing them both like on the kitchen table, like two women doing this plan is like my dream.
Yeah,
like it's
Goals.
getting
This
super
is absolute goals.
super organized and like really excited about it together. And even though obviously our personalities are different, I just get excited about this. Seems a very aligned question. This is from the both of them about this, and this obviously would be the same question if you've got a heterosexual relationship. Saving up for like IVF is just overwhelming. We've got so many people doing it. And who have watched this. And so please feel free, message in with your experiences, and we can definitely share this back with the person that sent the dilemma in. But a couple of things. Income's in a good place. She doesn't say how long ago she found Financielle, because she said they read the playbook, which is really cool, does she? She doesn't say, because like 500 quid, like come on.
Laura's going to go hard on you
got,
now. Like, you've got a good income, Laura says.
Like, that's a good income. So
They've
you're
just
in a really
bought
good
a house,
place.
haven't they? So that could have really eaten into any opportunity in the short term to plough money into their extras. But now, head down.
I would be wanting to see the budget's key to all this, because I'm going to share something a little controversial, right? Mini emergency fund, yes. So 1 month's expenses minimum for that. You're a lawyer, you don't see what your partner does, but hopefully it's a good job that is also fairly easy to get another one. Like when you're looking at emergency funds, you're like, what could be emergency? Yeah, risk. That's such a way to explain it. So once I've got that mini emergency fund, think family is super important, and having children, if it's your goal and you want to do that, and you've clearly raised the things that women, unfortunately, with a biological clock, and none of us know how it's going to go for us, how quickly and how many cycles and what have you. Your debt isn't crazy for your income, so you're at 12 grand, of 6 of which is with parents, and so you will know how delicate or not that debt is. You'd be making minimums on the credit card one, or I think she says the other 6. And so maybe doing some form of payment back like the normal bills, but sinking fund time and cash flow time. So you need to get to a point where once that emergency fund's done, and do it aggressively, like get that budget done. Because this is where you can go aggressive, because you're motivated by something else.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, like
and
the
you're
desire
a team as well.
There's a
you're
goal.
a team. The goal,
you're
motivated by a goal that is not just, we'd like to be debt free. It's, we want to have children, and that costs this, and that's our blocker. Like we that couple cannot try for children until they've paid for something. And so I would not tell someone to pay off debt before paying for IVF. I think the only way I would is if it was unmanageable and it was affecting their mental health. Like, the worst scenario for you is you're meant to be like not stressed, quite relaxed. You're going through something quite aggressive and it's not easy. You wouldn't want to do that with like loads of high interest debt hanging around. So that's the only time where you'd be like, okay, maybe. But
I would want to know, like you said about family. We've spoke about this before. If you've borrowed money from someone and then you're going to be like, oh, we're paying for IVF.
Yes, you need the blessing, I think.
Yeah. Family dynamic, then stress can ensue. And then, so I have got a little bit of a difference of opinion, because
you think pay off the debt first.
Yeah, because you want to be clear of mind, and it's expensive not only to save up to try for a child with medical intervention like IVF or support, it's then expensive to be on maternity leave, and it's like, I feel like it could just never get addressed.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I accept that. And I also think, coming back to the income point, is, so they've got 12 grand's worth of debt and they have a 75k income. So
smash that very quick, which is why I'm like, get rid of it, because it just shows the willing to be like, we're
yeah,
gonna get rid
I
of
think
it.
That's fair. I think we don't know where they live in. If it's a London salary, it's like suddenly that has been eaten up a little bit. But this is about getting aggressive, and so we've had a split decision.
Yeah, we never have a split decision on here, I don't think.
I think I'm always torn when it's children and IVF, and I don't want people to take it away and think you must. But I actually think that the caveat here and the challenge is they've got a good income and that's not a high debt. And so,
what-
to
so
your
would you
to your
not
point,
then-
I'm leaning more to your side. No, I
Yeah.
think you're right. I think it's actually about challenging and going, the quicker we do that, the quicker we start on that. And then, speak to IVF providers about cash flowing bits. And so you might be able to pay as you go. So you don't need to take credit on, but you might not have to save up. Let's say a cycle is costing 5,000. I don't know, but say if your cycle is costing 5,000, then you don't necessarily need to save up the 5. You might pay 1,000 a month, and in your budget, there should be 1,000 a month. So however much you want it will determine how tight you go on your budget.
Because usually we get a lot of people writing in where they're like, oh, I'm having a baby's too expensive and I don't know if they need IVF or not. I don't think the last particular dilemma ever went into that. But at the same time, like, I know how expensive it is. So at the same time as trying for a baby, we need to be saving up for hosting that baby.
Hosting the baby in our
Welcome
house.
to our family abode. Do you know what I mean? And then childcare is really expensive.
Yeah.
So for me, clean slate, because not
Getting
only are
ahead
you
as
going to
much
pay
as you
for
can.
IVF, you're going to have to pay to, someone's going to have to take leave. It's expensive to have a baby, all the things that come with it. And then you've got to save up for childcare, which is really expensive as well. There's a lot of costs coming your way. So flex that muscle of paying debt off.
I was going to say,
so
once you I feel like you could be a bit more aggressive with paying off your debt. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, right, we need this done. Like, hey,
get it
like,
done.
Like,
You're
you
doing
always
that.
say, like, you want to get
Motivated.
sick of the debt. And, like, you'll kind of prove to yourself how much you can put away every month towards that.
Absolutely.
And then go into the same mentality of that with
Saving
IVF
for
sinking fund.
Yeah. So exciting though.
Yeah, really
I did see this
exciting.
dilemma drop in and I try not to read
did
them and
you?
send them to Lucy because I'm in the
Oh,
fresh
okay.
desk.
You're
If
like,
you ever
don't
got-
look.
if you ever got a problem with the app, it'll be me that picks it up. Hey. But that one dropped in and I saw the title and I was like, I'm going to love this one. I sent it to Lucy. I didn't read it. So we'll make sure we go back to you.
Tell us what you do.
Yes.
Updates are required. Our community fall out with us
I will be
when they
following
don't
up
know
with you.
Oh God, yeah.
where you're up to.
What happened with the lady and the cat?
They're desperate to know. Please tell us your updates.
Okay, community win. All my consumer debt will be paid off by January. Put this in because I'm hoping that she's debt free by now.
Yes,
Which is exactly 2 years since I started using Financielle. I've paid off exactly, I'm going to struggle to read this number. I'm not a numbers girl.
Trillions.
£45,086.35p. Did I read that right?
Oh my God.
Well, you did it,
I
that's how
hope
much
so.
you did. Oh my God. 2 years.
In 2 years.
What a flex. Oh my gosh.
Incredible.
See, this is where, like, we should be so proud of ourselves. Well done, team. And for you guys listening at home, like, if you've ever recommended this podcast to someone, if you've ever told someone about the app, it's not an icky thing. We literally exist to do stuff like that. We have a good laugh and a good joke around, and it's a great excuse for a job. We can all just turn up and chat to you guys. But that's why, because had that person not come across Financielle, where would they be?
Yeah.
Like, she
Could be 2 years in the opposite direction.
Oh, 100%.
exactly
We've seen it.
making
Yeah.
it worse, and we have seen that. But then let's think 2 years forward. If she's been able to pay off that,
What can she say?
she now grows that.
Yeah.
Like, that is like life changing.
It is.
Insane.
Well done.
That was
Oh my
a great
God.
one to kickstart
Happy 2-year
2025.
anniversary.
Yeah.
If you'd like to send us your win, head to the community in the app or email it to thevault@financielle.com. Okay, next dilemma. He has a what's mine is mine attitude. My partner and I have been together for 7 years, share 4 kids, including my daughter from a previous relationship and his son from his first marriage. I moved towns for him and invested in his house, but he later returned part of the money and said our relationship was over. This has happened multiple times. We're now in a better place, but I'm hesitant to bring up money again because I don't want to destabilise things. I left a secure NHS job and built a successful business, earning 5.5k monthly. I cover food, kids' clothes, activities, and 1k towards a house. He earns significantly more, £200,000 a year, pays most bills and has great assets, but we keep our finances separate and I feel like a lodger. I don't have a private pension or investments, and the lack of transparency makes me anxious about long-term stability. I've considered 2 options for my £77,000 of savings. 1, reinvesting it into the house. 2, using it to buy a small property either as a rental or for my business. My worry is if things go wrong again, I'd need it to buy a home for myself. Ideally, I want a marriage with shared financial planning, but his what's mine is mine attitude feels misaligned with my values. I've been in limbo for years, unsure of the best path forward. Any advice on handling this or planning for my future?
This isn't a money question.
No, it's not at all. Forget about the maths, the salaries. This is
The
a
bill splitting.
This is a relationship dilemma through and through. And if I had a big red flag, I would be waving it right now because he's got previous in that he's already
Threatened the
have
end.
my money back.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other. Listen, it's a blended family, but there are plenty of blended families that function really well when it comes to money. There's no reason why he should have this mentality. It could be that he's got previous trust issues from he's been in a former relationship and they are valid if something's gone wrong and he wants to be mindful of where his money is and how he keeps it. But if you're planning to spend the rest of your life with someone and you can't share your financial plans, a monthly budget, it sounds like a lot of couples do this and I find it really irritating. So sorry if you do this. I'm probably speaking to the majority. We always say we're weird in our relationships and how we navigate. You pay for the food and I'll pay into the mortgage. No. Like, why do women always have to pay for the tangible stuff that's like the kids' school shoes, the kids' uniforms, arguably of which they sometimes think that they're getting away with a good deal, but they're not. Everything costs loads of money. Food costs are really expensive. Bills are really expensive. And these men, sorry,
generalizations.
paying into assets that grow in value.
Yeah.
And the
it's
women
super
are
important.
paying for the fucking school shoes.
Then they get the reputation for being the spender, by the way, as well. Like,
Yeah,
it's
because
also,
they're
she's off
constantly-
again.
Yeah, I am, because your child goes through 10 rolls of toilet roll every time they go to the toilet. So yeah, I'm back in B&M and I'm buying bleach for the toilet
Everyone
because you don't know how to clean it. Yeah, big red flag is all I'm going to say. And I'm trying to be empathetic because the only thing I'd say is by you writing in this dilemma, and I always say it and I write it to everyone in the community, when someone's writing a dilemma, they know the answer inside.
Yeah.
They need validation.
Oh God, but don't we always, like, if we were chatting in a coffee shop or in a bar or like,
I'm thinking,
it's
you're
like-
so
where everyone knows that you meant to agree, like,
yeah.
you already know, so let's try and guess what you want to do and we'll definitely tell you to do that because that's just how women work, I think. Thankfully I think we need to dissect this a little bit just for people listening to understand the different dynamics. Like there's financial dynamics, relationship dynamics, legal dynamics. So they're married.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen lots of dilemmas like this where they're not married. And do you know, like when you're younger and
I'm not actually sure if they are married.
No, it says ideally I want marriage
Yeah.
and shared financial planning.
Okay, so they're not married.
Mhm.
She said mentions marriage.
Yeah.
She said I know a married. Oh, I want a marriage, but sorry, I thought they're a
Yeah.
marriage, so they're not. Right? Okay.
Makes it even more
Long-term
Yeah, so
partner,
she-
but he's called it off several times.
Yeah, but she wants marriage and shared financial planning. So she wants
You might want
combined
marriage,
or-
but it's not with him. I'm just going to say it out loud.
Boom.
I think probably not. Well, I think.
There's a nods of agreement is all I'm going to say. I'll be bad cop. I'm happy to be bad cop.
But this is even more important then. So, if they were married, then aside from this really weird, I'll pay for my stuff, you pay for your stuff, and we don't know. And I think this is the important thing here. If people want to split finances and have their own bank accounts, like absolutely fine, because there's a way to manage household bills together and family bills and still have like fun money and my own private money. And we've talked about that before, where the dynamic there is just making sure there's not a disparity.
Yeah.
Because
There's
like
resentment.
your partners, then it's resentment.
You should want that other person to have as much joy as you have, not this is mine.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's that bit. And then, at least, so even if if we're in this situation and they were married, there's at least rights to assets there, which is not make sure you can get after what you deserve and like what gold digger concepts. Like it's just not that at all. It's the sacrifice that one person makes, giving up a really stable job with a bloody good pension, moving towns, facilitating this like, rainbow family and whatever, like complications come with that.
Yeah.
Sacrificing.
Compromise.
And there being no confidence, like of what happens in the future. So sorry that I misread that. I think in my head I was willing you were married.
Whereas actually I'm relieved that you're not, because it would have made this 10 times harder.
Yeah. And so there's the big relationship thing here is having someone that threatens to call it off or calls it off, and you're just in that limbo. But I speak to so many people, and I am in a really happy relationship with children, and I can't imagine what it's like where you're stuck and you're about to, you feel like you're going to ruin your kids' lives, where you go, we're actually, me and your
because
father
she's
are
had a
splitting up.
previous relationship as well. So that's even harder, because you're like, oh, again, it's not worked out. So that must be playing on your mind.
I've spoken to people this
probably
week
what's
where they're
you
keeping a
stay.
family together, and the idea that you
pull the rug
and you pop the bubble bursts and you did it. Thankfully, I have seen so many people come out the other side then where it was the best thing for a period of time. It didn't work out. But basically, like in a black and white way, what you're facing is an unstable relationship where you constantly must be on eggshells. You don't have a long-term financial security, so you don't own a home. Yes, you've got savings. I'm glad you've got savings, but you don't own a home, so you're not investing in an asset that's growing in value.
Yeah, and here's.
And you also don't have a pension, which is going to look after you in older age, because I've seen so many people, relationships end, and they've been sacrificing and relying on. Yeah, and so...
And you're not married, so you have no rights to that anyway. No, so that's not yours at all. Like, at all. Yeah. At the moment.
So she says she's considered two options for her £77,000 worth of savings.
Go and buy a house on your own and live in it. That sounds so harsh. Like Laura said, popping the bubble. Actually, there's a puncture in this bubble anyway.
Yeah.
The trust is not there.
No.
The threats are there. He sounds quite controlling, the way that you've come across with these dangling the carrot of threatening to leave, and has done this he's got previous, and I genuinely don't think that there's going to be any sort of change from him or compromise or marriage that then he would share his assets. And like I said, it might be problems that he's carrying from a previous relationship or pets, stuff that he's seen with parents or friends, like
pets.
I heard or pets. That lizard was a bastard.
And if there's one shot at this working, it's a conversation with your man to say, I want to talk about money. I feel like we can't talk about money. But I have got, not myself to look after, but I feel like we can't talk about money. So I know that to be financially well, we should have really good emergency savings, so that if anything happens to either one of us, that we can fall back on something. We should probably have some like protection in place, so like income protection, maybe life insurance, like stuff like this.
She owns her own business, so I would say she absolutely does need some sort of income protection.
And if she she can't, she's reliant on her income is reliant on her only. So and then it makes sense to, when we get to retirement age, which is far away but not too far away, we would like a paid off home so that we don't have to think about somewhere to live, and we would like retirement income. And at the moment, with the way we manage money, I can't do that. So can we come up a way that we manage our money that means I can have a pension and I have ownership in this house? And see what he says.
Yeah.
Because you're going to know.
It's a good test.
If he suddenly goes, I've never thought of it like that. Because sometimes partners do that, male and female, they go, oh yeah.
Money personalities. He could be like, I keep everything and I'm scared to lose it.
It could be something previous. And he in his head might be, I've had issues with marriage. I'm not doing that. But of course you can always live here. And of course you can do this. Of course what you could go back into him is, that's fine.
I feel like a lodger.
But exactly.
Yeah.
And she wants stability for her kids, just like he wants stability for his. It's not an unreasonable request.
No. And so position, that is you as a partner going to your long-term partner and saying, I don't have this stability with a couple of things in place. You don't need marriage for it, but you could be, this is my budget. Be super transparent with it. This is my budget. I want to get to a place where I'm not paying for all the things for the kids. We just put the house stuff together and the kids stuff together. And I need enough left over to invest in a pension. Because top of your list, by the way, absolute top of your list, like, is getting a pension. And see what he says. Because if he doesn't like that, and if he's difficult about that, that is just telling you what the rest of your life's going to be like. Mm-hmm. And so
it's a good dress rehearsal for what marriage could look like.
Because he could react positively, which is, because you could still give him his freedom, but engineer a situation where it's more equal and you're ticking the things that you want to tick off. And in that scenario, and if you can get that sorted, then I would say invest in the house with it. If it goes, come on the mortgage, put your savings into the house, make sure you've got emergency savings, start investing in a pension regularly. And this is what you want. You've got what you want. But if you don't get that.
Marriage, by the way, will give you rights to things. So it will get easier financially, but his money personality or his personality is not going to change as a result of marriage. There's no like miraculous thing that happens the minute you say I do, whereby he'll be like, okay, we're going to split everything down. That won't happen. Yes, you might get rights to certain things legally, but it's not going to change what I think are fundamental issues with your relationship and his behaviours.
So that the message isn't from us, try and convince him to get married because you get equal rights.
It will arguably be harder because that will be expensive, and that 77 grand that you've got saved up as your what I would call a nest egg and emergency fund will be spent on legal fees. So really think carefully. In the community, if you wrote this in the community, I'm telling you now how many women
who've been through the other side of it, I think,
who wish someone like them could tell you the advice because they've been through it. They'll be all over this like a rash.
What really pisses me off about scenarios like, oh God, how long have I forgot about this? That pisses me off about scenarios like this. But the marriage thing, like so many marriages don't work out. And lots of people can get burned by a previous marriage. But in defense of the storylines of women for years, which is you marry him for money, like we dispel a lot of that because the sacrifice that goes on, that the facts tell us, the gender pay gap, the gender pension gap, we know women suffer financially in a relationship.
Just for being female.
But the sacrifices, the moving, the lower pay, the childcare, everything adds up to being screwed over. But what annoys me even more is at least why the law does that, why the law says when you get married, it's a partnership, is because it's factoring in this. So it's factoring in this like protection, usually for the female. So for once, there's a establishment that is put in place that protects for when this would happen, for when a relationship breaks down. And at different points, people have built up different assets and they've usually had family. So there's usually children to look after, that it can protect this equal division of assets. What pisses me off is these scenarios, these living arrangements where typically a man would say, I don't want to get married. We don't need to get married. We don't need to get married. That's just going to spoil it. What they end up getting is they get the benefit of the marriage. They get the sacrifice of the woman taking a lower paid job.
They get the childcare.
They get the childcare. They get the life admin. They get everything. But the woman doesn't get the protection. So it's not even about the fucking party and the dress and the day and stuff. This is such a convenient situation for them. And so it annoys me because what you don't want to then say is get married and it fixed it, because it won't, because the relationship isn't good.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got that backstory. The fact that she gave the context is really important. She could just be saying, we're a blended family, and we'd be like, well, marriage would actually, if you're going to spend your rest of your life together, marriage would actually resolve.
You're already married, just do the legal bit. You're living as man.
Yeah.
And this is what I don't like, when people aren't getting the legal benefits of marriage, both male and female, by the way, not just one way.
And can you put, you'll know more than me, as being an ex-lawyer, certain protections in place where you don't have to get married, but you can have legal rights around finances?
Or you can you can have a civil partnership, which is really weird because it's a marriage. It's literally a marriage, just without the fancy stuff. But so there's that, but there's also there's things that they can put in place, like they could navigate this, for example, with because what she's not saying is I wouldn't be entitled to anything if he died.
No, she's never mentioned
and
that.
I want more of his income.
Yeah.
But if they jointly owned the home properly,
yes,
and so you can do that in a tenants in common way, which is quite technical, but what it means is you own half each, and that also protects your children but also the child that you don't have with him. So she could buy into the home, they own it jointly as an asset, and they could, even if he was it's difficult to do this, he could protect what he's put in so far, and they start from now.
It sounds like she would be up for that as well.
You know?
She's not even saying I want half the house, but she's already mentally, by the way, saying I need another house in case this goes to shit.
Yeah,
She said that,
Yeah, she
not
is.
us.
But there's ways that people can document financial protections without marriage. It doesn't have to be the answer. But for example, one of the things she's asking for is a better split of bills so that she can invest in a pension. Like, as she's not got a pension, she's saying, and I'm saying, okay, the answer to that is pay less into the central bit. So what she needs is him to pay more so that she can not go spend more, that she can go invest it. So there's ways of building this up quite rightly without the marriage thing, if the marriage is a thing. But what I would say is he's getting the benefit of the marriage now. Absolute benefit. And she needs to start taking a bit of control. So we've got a shopping list for you, is have that session with him, but you do need to be investing in a property that grows in value, because you have it, make sure that's making money at the same time. But you should be part of, if you own a home, if he owns a home, you should be owning that home with him, or you should own your own. I wouldn't get into rentals, right? That's not the answer to this. Buying a property for your business or buying a property to rent out is extra headache. You don't need that right now. So either that money should be making money in an account as best it can, tax-free where possible.
Putting something to a pension, maybe.
I think it needs.
Look at that?
I think she's gonna. I don't think the relationship's gonna work out. I think she needs to buy a house.
I would buy that. I would buy a house.
But I think she buys a house if this relationship falls down. So I think for now, hold your nerve. It's buying your patience, but don't invest it yet.
You need access to it.
You need access to it.
Don't
but
put in
start
a
that
account where you can't get access to it, because some of
don't
those
lock
that
it
can
away.
lock it away.
But get invested at the same time, and please. Not because it's juicy. It is juicy, obviously. Like, we've been having a good chat about it, and you obviously needed help with it. We want to know how you get on publicly or privately.
Yeah.
And if anyone else is going through something similar, chat to us about it.
And drop it in the community, because I'm telling you, the stories that come out of there and the women that have gone through these lived experiences, like we haven't. It's easy for me to say, oh, red flag, just leave him. I'm not saying that. But I can guarantee that conversation that we just spoke about, I've got an idea of how that's going to go, just because of how the context that you've given about how he manages relationship and how he views shared ownership of things and whatnot.
There's a potential for this to work out.
Yeah.
Let's see how he reacts to the money chat. I think I've started to say this before, but when you're a kid and like you need to tell your mum something, and it might be something you've done at school, or it might be like, I don't know, like it's just
you've broken.
Yeah, the amount of conversations
bars.
I've had to have with my dad, and I was like, oh, Dad, I've broke my phone. I've lost my phone.
Yes.
So all of this.
Imagine
about 10
that
times.
feeling where like I don't think I've had that feeling with my partner where I have to tell them something. I can imagine, if it's going to be difficult. And so there are ways to position it which isn't as aggressive, not aggressive, but as like stressful. It's more, but you're going to have to bite the bullet. You're going to have to hover around the fridge and go, can we have a chat? Can I have a chat? Like, no one likes a chat, do they? It's like, oh my God, it's like the fire pit on Love Island.
Blame us, be like, listen to this podcast. That's what we do. Tell everyone. Blame us.
Okay. Any final words?
I'd like a follow-up on that one.
Yeah.
Only because I feel like Laura said, it's it's great for the pod to discuss and chat and whatever, but we genuinely do care about what happens with this dilemma. So if you need any help, we can put you in touch with people. Can't give advice, like official advice, but we can point you in the right direction of people that can. So let us know.
That's all for this episode. The Vault is now closed. Just a quick disclaimer, The Vault is just a chat around life and money topics. We are not giving financial advice.